Every record starts with an idea, but most producers never make it past that stage. This is what really happens between the idea and the finished record. This is Titan Sound Sessions. Now, I've seen what really happens behind the scenes, the process, the mistakes, the growth, and I don't want the next generation building in the dark. So let's get into the illusion or the illusions that producers believe. Let's see. We have talent is enough. It's not. Talent gets you in the room, but that's where your real work begins once you're there. Upload beats and someone will find you. You have a higher chance of hitting Powerball today. And I'm not saying that's impossible, but let's put this in perspective. The world is a very large place, and millions of songs are uploaded to streaming platforms daily. You know how long it would take you to listen to 1 million songs? Now imagine that happening on a daily basis. You couldn't possibly get to all the music that's out there. Needle in a haystack defined. Placements will happen because your music is great. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Now, the internet makes success feel a lot closer than what it actually is. Now, I'll be honest, I thought a lot of these things as well when I first began. I thought it was going to be that easy. My talent is going to make me rich. And I wasn't chasing money, but I thought my talent would be enough. I thought just getting my music out there because it's good or it's great, it's going to open up doors for me. That by itself, that didn't work that way. Or placements would find me because my music is great. No, no, that's not how this goes. So my wake-up call was my first placement contract. Now we're going back 20 years, man. So my first placement contract, first of all, just getting a placement is a very exciting thing. It really is. Who are we kidding? That's the thrill that we're chasing as producing creators, is to get that placement. That's going to kick my career off, and it's just going to be smooth sailing from there. Until I got to the table and saw this thick contract that I didn't understand, but the thought of me having a placement just, I signed it. I was completely green, everybody. I was completely green. I knew that much about royalties, but didn't have a clue about publishing. I was so clueless about publishing that I literally said at the table, I'm not worried about it. I literally said out loud that I'm not worried about publishing. I wish I could borrow Doc Brown's time machine, hop in that DeLorean, and go back in time and just kick myself. Because that is wildly insane to say that now in 2026. But back then, I wasn't worried about publishing because I didn't know. I just didn't know. It was a reminder that I was really green to the business side of music. And the word is music business. The music part I had, but the most important part, I had no clue about. Your music is a talent. The business is what's going to sustain your talent and give you a livelihood because of your talent. But if you don't know the business, it's going to be a steep hill to climb. Now, the things that you don't see, negotiations. If you don't understand the business side of music, you don't understand that you can negotiate your agreements, or you can have your management negotiate on your behalf. I didn't know I could negotiate my placement agreement. I didn't completely understand splits. That's very important. Splits is the how are you splitting the song between you and the other contributors to the record, what your percentage should be, what your points should be. If you don't know that, it's a losing battle, because everybody is going into the negotiation they're going into an agreement to do what's best for them, not what's best for you. If you haven't heard the term by now, you get what you negotiate. Let me introduce that to you. You get what you negotiate. So if you're not negotiating well on your behalf, you're going to get the short end of the stick. It's as simple as that. Publishing. Just talked about this. What you don't know is publishing is the other side of your money. On the song, you have two sides. You have writers and you have publishing. We'll use ASCAP for an example. And BMI both do the same thing. When you register your song, there's two sides: songwriter, publishing. In ASCAP, it's set up a 50-50 split. You have 100% of the pie. 50 of that is publishing. 50 of that is your songwriter. That's just how it's shown in ASCAP. In BMI, I believe BMI shows it the correct way, where you have two pies: songwriter, publishing, and both pies are worth 100%. In splits, go back to that other term, splits, it's usually split between the composers and the writers of the song. Lyric, melody, music, those are your songwriters. They also have a publishing side of that as well too. So you get both songwriters and publishing from the contributors of the song. Splits are determined between the individuals for the most part. I like to do what's called pop splits, where everybody that's a part of the record just split evenly down the middle. Why do I do that? The analogy I will always use: if you open up a traditional watch, and you look inside, there's many pieces that comprise the inner workings of that watch. Some are big, some are small. If you remove the smallest one, the watch doesn't work. If you remove the biggest one, the watch doesn't work. The end result is every piece matters in order for this thing to work. So I treat everybody, big or small, everybody eats the same. Relationships, probably the most important of the hidden things not seen. Probably the most important thing we'll talk about today. Relationships is what's going to carry you through this music industry. It really is. Your reputation, how you conduct yourself, all of that, it matters. It really does. I developed one of my best relationships that I have with one of the best mix engineers in this music industry, Amon Jackson. I'll tell you the story of how that happened. Come back 2017, was in Atlanta. I was hanging with a friend of mine who's also an artist. He goes by Doughboy Philly's phenomenal rap artist. One of the best storytellers I ever heard. He invited me to come to his recording session, which just happened to be at Amon Jackson's studio. Now, I don't know Amon Jackson personally at this current time. So we get to his studio. Amon, so we call him AJ, so I'll call him AJ for you guys. So we get to AJ's studio. I just have a seat on the back wall, and I'm just observing, just taking it all in. The studio space acoustically is phenomenal. AJ lives and breathes sound like no other. I pray you guys get a chance to meet AJ. He's just a phenomenal human being. So we're at his studio. I'm taking everything in. I'm just listening. I'm not saying anything. Why? It's not my session. It's not. I know how to conduct myself in his studio, especially when I'm not running anything. I didn't produce the song. I didn't make the music. I didn't do anything. So therefore, I'm not saying a word. AJ notices that. And at the end of the session, he says, "I like you." And then from there, I developed a relationship with him where I'm working with him. I'm flying down to Atlanta to work with him one-on-one on my sound. And we developed such an amazing relationship. He mixed my entire album, State of Union. Amon Jackson, this phenomenon of an engineer, Grammy Award-winning engineer, mixed my album based off of a relationship. Relationships are important. Relationships open a lot of doors for you in this industry. So please build those with intention. The other part I want to talk to you about, business etiquette. Remember, the music business has two sides: music, business. You have to understand how to conduct yourself when it comes to business. You have to take your emotions out, understand business terminology, learn the terms, pick up the books. Information is literally everywhere now. There's the barrier to entry is the lowest it's ever been. You have so many tools available to you to learn the business side of music, to prepare yourself to get into these rooms and to stay there. So learn business etiquette. If you don't have it, it's a skill that can be taught. You just need the will to learn it. The key takeaway here is that music is only half the job. Like I said, you have music, business. Your music is your talent. The business is going to keep you there. So here are some skills that producers just need to learn, okay? Some mistakes that producers make: you don't understand the terms, you don't understand roles, and you don't understand the very room that you're in. Now, I think I'm going to ruffle some feathers here, but producer versus beat maker, they're not the same. Sorry, cat's out the bag. Producer versus beat maker they're not the same. They're two different disciplines entirely. What do you mean? A beat maker, you literally just compose the music. So that we're all on the same playing field, speaking the same language, we're talking about a song that not only has music, but has lyrics and melody, a full song with vocals. We're talking a full completed song. That's the comparison we're talking about here. So a beat maker in this situation makes the music. They didn't produce the music. They made the music, because we're talking about the final product, which is the song. You make the music, you give it to the artist, or you give it to a person who's going to give it to an artist. They then place vocals and arrange the song how they see fit based on how they feel about it. And they turn the song in. The song never comes back to you after you give the music to them. You didn't produce the song. Either the artist or the person they were working with produced the song. You did, however, make the music, which makes you a composer. You still have your rights to that song because you compose. You're a writer. You're a writer of that song. You're a songwriter. You compose the music. A producer, however, whether the producer makes the music or not, a producer's job is to deliver the final product, to present the final vision of that song realized. That's the producer's job. From start to finish, the producer either is making the music or he finds the musicians to compose the music. The producer is also working with the artist and as a songwriter, or bringing in additional songwriters to get the song where it needs to be vocally. If there's background vocals that's needed, the producer is over that. The producer is over getting the proper recording engineer for the song. The producer's he's also responsible for getting the correct mix engineer for the song and the mastering engineer for the song. The producer's job is to see everything through, booking studio time, finding the right studio. That is all the producer's job to get that done. So as you see, when we understand the roles and responsibilities of the title, you understand why beat maker versus producer, they're not the same. So hopefully that brings a lot of clarity to an age-old debate. Artists versus label dynamics. A lot of times, the artist may have an idea that they want to see through, and the label may have another. You have to be able to negotiate and get things done, play both sides, have conversations, meet in the middle. As a producer, you're the mediator. So you need to know what's going on both sides just so you can achieve the goal at hand. Engineer roles. What a break. Engineer roles. Remember, we talked about you have a recording engineer, you have a mix engineer, you have a mastering engineer. That's just 3 tiers of engineering right there. And knowing that each one is a very specific discipline. It's rare that an engineer can masterfully do all 3, because each one is a skill set that requires time and investment to get to master each one. So if you're looking to have the best recording possible, it's rare that you're going to have the recording engineer, the mix engineer, and the mastering engineer be the same person. Not if you're going for the best product, because you can have the best song in the world. If it's recorded horribly, the best mix engineer can't get that song to where it needs to be. If it's recorded fantastic and it's mixed bad, the mastering engineer can't do their job. I can have the best recording, the best mix, and the worst master ever, and the song is now in the toilet. So understanding engineering roles makes sense. You just have to know who's who, who's in the room, who's best at what, and pull on that to get the best product possible. Publishing terminology. I said it before. The tools are there to learn these things. Please take time to invest in learning publishing terminology, because that's the other piece of your money as a creator. It's not just your songwriters, it's not just mechanicals, it's not just neighboring rights. You have publishing out there as well too. So you get paid a few different ways from one song. A lot of us, including myself, just thought royalties. And at that time, that was mechanical royalties. There's 5 other methods of payment, and it might be 6 or 7 now. And I'm talking then, just 6 years ago, it was 6 different ways to get paid from one song. 6. And we're going to go through all that here at Titan Sound Sessions. We are. Most important, it feels like I'm saying most important for all of them because they're all equally important, but you have to know how to read the rooms you're in. You have to read the rooms, and from a producer's lens, because I'm really speaking to my aspiring producers. I'm speaking to all creators, but because I'm a producer, I'm speaking to aspiring producers. You have to know the room that you're in. You have to understand the people that are in these rooms. You have to know their roles, read temperament, body language, energy. You're the captain of that ship, so you have to navigate those waters. You want everybody to be at their best, because that way you know you're going to get the best performance out of them. Being a producer is leadership, but you have to lead from the front. If water's needed, you go get it. If snacks are needed, you go get it. It's hospitality. You're pulling on a lot of disciplines to make something special happen. This is what you signed up for. You're here to make everyone comfortable. If somebody's down, you need to pull them aside and talk to them. Sometimes you're going to be a counselor. Sometimes you're a big brother. You're a big sister. You're a mentor. You're a confidant. You're the errand boy or errand girl. You gotta run and go get things. Read the room, because it's your job to make sure that everybody is at their best. And that's just from creating the record. We're not even talking about the business side of it. We're talking about just from the idea to the final product, reading the room, knowing everybody's in the room, pulling the best out of them by you're a servant leadership. Listen, if you don't understand the room that you're in, you can't play the game correctly. Now, here are a few things I want you to focus on. I want you to learn the business side. I want you to understand the ecosystem. I want you to build relationships intentionally. And I want you to keep developing your craft. You are a forever student. Remember, music cannot be mastered because it's subjective. But you can be a master of your instrument or instruments, a master of the process, activate your emotional intelligence. You are forever in a learning state, and it's going to make you just a better person overall, but it's going to make you an amazing producer. You listen twice as much as you speak. You want to be known as a great listener. That's a fantastic attribute to have. It makes me go back to when I signed my first contract. I understood something. Talent opens doors, but understanding the business will keep them open. If you're a producer or a creator trying to figure this out, I just want you to know you're not alone. Truth be told, most of us had to learn these lessons the hard way. If you know a creator that's trying to navigate this industry, send them this episode. And if you want more conversations like this about the process behind the scenes, subscribe to Titan Sound Sessions. I'm your host, Double A. I'll see you soon.